Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm talking all about Shay's weaning journey. So Shay is my son and he's currently 8 months old, and I wanted to share with you how I've been going with weaning him onto solid foods. Now, I have found weaning so much fun. I think that it can be quite scary because you're suddenly introducing to new foods, you've got so much more work to do because, they've got to eat like 3-4 meals a day and you're cooking all the time and you're cleaning out because it's so messy. But it's also so much fun. It's this amazing moment to bond with your child. It's also fun because, eventually you want them to be eating with you as a family, and it's the very beginning stages of that. And it's also getting them excited about food. Seeing like Shay eat an orange and like the excitement on his face is absolutely everything. So I started weaning when Shay was about 5 months, which is a little bit earlier than most people, but Shay had really bad reflux, and I found that adding a little bit more solid food really helped when he was really refluxy. I used to first off start off with a little bit of rice porridge that I mixed with some of his milk, which would thicken it up, and then I would just spoon feed it to him, and he absolutely loved it. So about 5 months I was just doing rice porridge, and then I started to introduce just single purees. So I puree some steamed sweet potato or broccoli, or just really plain vegetables that were just really simple. And I decided to start with vegetables because I wanted him to have a palate that didn't only love sweet foods. Obviously I've been feeding him like fruits and other things, but I wanted to kind of start with the vegetables and then introduce blends of fruit and vegetables together. So then once he got to about 6 months, I started doing mixtures of vegetables and fruit together, and kind of they were random. I wouldn't say they were particular recipes. I would just basically blend like a banana with some strawberries and give it to him. And then I would blend like some steamed sweet potato with some carrot. And those were the kind of things that I was making. There wasn't a particular kind of recipe or methodology to them. They were basically like, these are some ingredients, let's put them together. And it was fun and it was fine. I found that suddenly around 6 months, Shay started to almost go backwards. So he wasn't interested in food, he wouldn't eat his food, he would only drink his milk, and it made me feel really anxious and nervous. I felt like I was doing something wrong, and really that was just a phase for him. It lasted about 2 weeks. And he refused to allow me to spoon feed him, which apparently happens a lot later down the tracks. Like when I read about it, it was more like 9 to 11 months this happened for most people. But Shay decided to do it early. So he has been incredibly independent, likes feeding himself. So then I started to read about baby-led weaning, which is very much where the baby grabs the food, puts it in their mouth, and you don't do so much of the spoon feeding. I thought it was really interesting, so I tried it out. I would give him little toast fingers where I'd toast some rye bread and put some avocado over the top. I'd give him some steamed carrot sticks, some broccoli heads, and it was really fun. He really enjoyed it. So he would just kind of grab them and put them in his mouth. To be honest, not very much went in his mouth. It mainly went all over the floor. And if you are someone that really suffers from OCD about cleanliness and cleaning, I would not recommend baby-led weaning because it is so messy. It's so much fun, but really, really, really messy. I kind of wish I lived in a hot country because then I could just like hose him down and like feed him outside. That would be the dream. But anyway, next baby, I'll be in a hot country. Anyway, so I started doing a bit of baby-led weaning, but I also kept doing the purees as well because I actually quite like a mixture of it. So on the whole at the moment, when I feed Shay, I'll make up a plate and I will do maybe 2 different purees. So one might be like some hummus and one might be, I don't know, like a fish curry. And then I will do some heads of broccoli, some chopped up strawberries and some yogurt. So that's kind of like a plate for him. Sometimes if I can't be bothered and that sounds like way too much work, I'll just do one straight puree, or I'll just do one snack that's like some rice cakes. But on the whole, I like to have a good variety, lots of different flavors. Recently now, I've been making meals for the both of us. I really want to be in the position where I'm not making Shay a recipe and then me a recipe. I want to cook something that we can both eat. So for example, today I woke up and I made us both blueberry porridge. So I cooked down some oats with some almond milk. I added some frozen blueberries and I just cooked that down for about 5 minutes and then gave him a little bowl and me a big bowl. Well, to be honest, he ate quite a lot. So we were kind of both on medium bowls, let's say. and that really works. I do mush his up a little bit so the blueberries aren't whole, because that can be a little bit too much for him to swallow at the moment. Although he went through teething quite early and already has about 7 teeth, which is quite a few for his age, but I don't know, he's using them, he's enjoying those teeth. So that would be a typical breakfast for us. And then for lunch, again, I might make up like a lentil dal, and then I'll have some spinach with it and some rice, and he'll have the same, which I'll probably puree down a little bit. And I just won't season it until the end, and I just season right at the end. And I've gotten quite used to it. To be honest, I feel like I've been adding too much salt to a lot of my food. I can often go a bit overboard with salt, so it's been quite good to kind of watch my salt intake, not be going too overboard, and just seasoning right at the end, so seasoning to taste. And I think that's all you really need to do when you're cooking for your child. You don't necessarily have to make them a separate meal that's like a baby food. You can make them what you are already cooking for yourself. Just make sure that you don't season with any sugar, salt, and also nothing really spicy like hot chilies or anything like that. But I've been using all sorts of spices in Shay's food: cumin, coriander, turmeric, lots of really kind of mild spices, which, you know, are gonna develop his taste buds, make him more excited about food, because how good does spice make food taste? And I think that's the great thing about weaning, is you're introducing your child to new foods. And they say you've got up until about 2 when they're a bit more open to food and will say yes. And then they kind of get to that stage where they know what they like and they just want to eat those things. So I feel like at the very beginning during this weaning journey, you have this amazing time where they're a little bit more open, they'll say yes to foods, and you can just kind of give it a go and see what works. I think the most important thing is to not get too stressed. On the whole, babies eat exactly as much as they need, and there'll be days where they eat huge amounts and days where they eat very little. And I know that can make you often feel very anxious. I know it makes me feel anxious because I think we're so used to eating quite similar amounts every day. You know, we eat a certain amount of breakfast, a certain amount of lunch and dinner. We don't have days where we hardly eat anything and eat a lot. Well, at least I eat quite consistently. I'm not sure about you. So I think you have to kind of release control, and that is very much parenting 101 on the whole. You know, you've suddenly got this baby where you can't just tell them what to do. They kind of have their own opinions, their own agendas. So I think weaning is something that you just have to go with the flow. Give your baby the food, see if they like it. You know, if you're, say for example, trying carrots on them and you give them some pureed mashed carrots and they're not into it, no worries, it doesn't mean they don't like carrots. Maybe try steamed carrot sticks or grated carrot, or carrot mixed with like bolognese. You know, you never know. I think sometimes trying it with different textures, different tastes, in a combination of different things, that's when you can kind of understand. And I think you've got to keep trying with different foods, because you never know, that day they might have been teething or feeling a bit unwell or a little bit refluxy or had a cold. So that might have, you know, made their senses a little bit out of whack, which is why they didn't want to eat that food. So I'm so excited to keep going on my weaning journey. I'm also buying food when I'm out and about. I can't make every meal, so I'll just grab a nice puree of vegetables and fruits when I'm out and about, and rice cake snacks. I really love a brand called Organics that do lovely things like rice cakes and little like carrot sticks as well. They're really fun and really easy to eat. And I think they're really good for developing that kind of hand-eye coordination and feeding themselves, because that's so important. You know, I look at little kids in cafes when they're sitting in their chair eating their own pancakes or so with their knife and fork, and I'm like, that is awesome. I can't wait to get to that stage. I know I'm quite far off it, but I feel like you want to just constantly be working towards that goal of them being able to feed themselves, which is super exciting. So that is the beginning of my weaning journey. I would love to hear from you how you found weaning, whether it's in the past or it's coming up. You know, I think there's so many emotions around this pivotal point of your child's life. I would definitely want to be doing more about my weaning journey and foods that I cook for Shay and me. So if you would like to see this, do leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.